Oh, it's a snowball. Cool. I have an ice person.
All right, here we go, everybody.
Astro gaming headset.
All right, so I'm going to talk you through here how to start writing our paper, our DBQ essay. So everybody needs to look at this paper here that says Part C and with our task directions. So I'm going to go through this with you, and then we'll flip over to the back side, and as you do your workshop today, your writer's workshop, you'll go down in order of the rubric as you write your paper. So the front part here says, using the information in the documents provided and your knowledge of history, write a well-organized essay that includes an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Trace the origins of the U.S. legal and political system to the contributions of the ancient Greeks and the Romans. This is your thesis. In this case, for our DBQ, everyone has the same thesis. A thesis is like your topic or what you're planning to prove in your paper. Okay? So everybody's got the same thing. And basically our thesis is that the United States copied their government from Greece and Rome. They took a little from Greece, they took a little from Rome, they shook it up a bit, and we got the United States government. So you're going to include a discussion of 3 topics. So you're going to pick 3. There were 6 altogether. So you're going to pick either types of democracy, separation of powers, checks and balances, rule of law, citizen duties, or popular sovereignty. Now I want to give you a hint, so I'm going to grab my chart here.
What about like moving into?
I want to give you a hint. Here are our 6 topics from our chart. We had democracy, popular sovereignty, separation of powers, checks and balances, rule of law, and citizen duties. So if you have your chart there, you can look at it. These are really separated into 3 chunks that are similar. Democracy and popular sovereignty are quite similar. Separation of powers and checks and balances are quite similar. And rule of law and citizen duties are quite similar. So I encourage you, as you choose what 3 you would like to do, pick 1 from these, pick 1 from these, and pick 1 from these. It will make writing your essay a lot easier, and you have to use the documents, and you can't double up, so it'll be easier to pick what documents you plan to use if you choose 1 from each of these groupings. Okay, so pick like democracy, pick separation of powers, pick rule of law, something like that. Okay?
Can you read mine? That was exactly the thing I was thinking.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, so here's our DBQ checklist. Things that you should look at before writing your paper and then as you're writing your paper. So follow the rubric provided in order. I even like double underlined it. In order. Or I bolded it, I mean. The rubric is on the back. You should have this in front of you as you are writing your essay, because I'm going to have it in front of me as I'm grading your essay. And I'm going to go down your paper in order, and this is the order that it should be in. It's very specific. It's our first DBQ that we've ever written, so it's very specific. All right, we're going to have a name, title, teacher, and assignment in the right-hand corner. That's how you set up your paper. Choose Times New Roman or Arial font, only 12. You're going to choose a thematic title. That means like a theme. Don't just write DBQ essay at the top. It needs to be something that alludes to what your paper is about. Okay? It'll be 5 paragraphs. Each new paragraph is indented. That's when you just press the tab button once, so I know that you have started a new paragraph. Don't put spaces in between your paragraphs. That's not how we're going to show that we're starting a new paragraph. It shouldn't be like bulleted. It should be just an indent. That's how we write. Support your argument with facts and information that address the task. Write in an organized, clear, and logical way. Do not use the first person. So oftentimes in your writing I say, don't be conversational, Be factual. You may have gotten that on some of your essays that you write for your tests. So stay factual. No, I think, or our government. It should be the U.S. government. Okay, so you might have to go back, right? In English class, often you write your opinion, so you use I, but not in our DBQ. Yes, Josh?
A way to make sure that you don't do this is to hit Command F. You can scan for things, and hit the space bar and then hit I, and you will figure out if you have any words that either start with I in some cases, or if you just have the word I in it.
That's nice. That's a good proofreading, strategy at the end.
You should probably put a space after as well if you're just looking for the word I, because otherwise it'll come up with words that start with I as well.
Good. Okay. The next one says, vary your diction to sound less repetitive. Diction is a word meaning word choice. Okay? So often in this paper, you're going to have a lot of intro sentences and conclusion sentences where you're over and over again repeating yourself the thesis. So it'll start sounding really repetitive if you use the word copies like 12 times throughout your paper. So I've given you a little list or a thesaurus here of other ways to say copies, because the United States copied ancient Greece and Rome. You're going to be saying that over and over again. So try to mix it up, vary your diction. And I've given you a list, like followed, taken from, influence, duplicate, etc. I've given you some choices. So maybe each time you use it, cross one off. Then it'll really mix up your paper. It'll make it flow nice. You have to use 6 different documents. There were 8 in total, so you need to use 6 out of the 8. Don't repeat, because you're going to be using 2 in each of your body paragraphs. You're going to use 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. That makes 6. Don't use one more than once. Okay? I've given you an example of how to quote properly. So blah, blah, blah is my quote here. But you're putting quotes at the beginning, at the end. You cite your document. So in this case, it would be document 1. And then the period goes at the end. If you quote something and then you actually write the title of the document, that's also acceptable. The period goes at the end. If you have punctuation, I know Mr. Kelly has been trying to stress this as well. If you have punctuation in the middle or quotation in the middle, your punctuation goes inside the quotations, and then if you continue writing, then you can continue writing, and then maybe you write document 2, and then your period goes at the end. Okay? Yes? Has Mr. Kelly been all over you about that?
Did you hear him yesterday?
Okay. Yeah, I heard he was yelling. Yes, Evan.
Back to the 6 different documents. If we use like 6 different documents for like 2 in each body paragraph, and we think that we might need like another one that we've already used, to use it again to support what we're trying to say.
You can, but you need to make sure that, I see what you're saying, like you use document 1, you use document 2, you use document 3, you use document 4, you use document 5, you use document 6, and then you also want to use a document 2. Yeah. That's okay, but you at least have to have 2 different ones, If you want to do more, that's okay, but you can't do less. So this is just another way to cite. If you weren't quoting, you were just in your own words explaining what's in the document, same thing. The period goes, and then the citation goes after the period. The only time that the period goes after is if you have quotations. All right, when quoting or introducing a quote, you need to use it to prove something. You don't just throw a quote down and then walk away. You got to tell me why you put that quote there. So I've given you some examples or some starters. So when you introduce a document, as I said, you don't just throw it in there. You want to set it up for the reader. So as seen or as portrayed, as shown, as proved. I've given you lots of different examples. Maybe as you use them, you can cross them out. That'll make your writing sound varied and not repetitive. Then prove with the document after your sentence. So this shows that, And if you're trying to show me checks and balances, this shows checks and balances because, and explain it. Okay, don't just throw the quote down, or don't just throw your citation of your document down and then walk away. You got to explain it. All right, at the end here, proofread your entire paper. Check for spelling, grammar, and punctuation mistakes. Take advantage of the peer review extra credit. So after you are done writing your paper, not before, after you are done writing your paper, if you choose to, you can share your paper with someone who has myself. It has to be someone who has Mrs. Kirsch. Ms. Helfrich's students are going to trade with Ms. Helfrich. Ms. Kirsch's students will trade with Ms. Kirsch. It doesn't have to be someone in this room, okay? But it has to be someone who has me. And then if you do that, you're going to, like, in the Google Documents, you can write down your comments on the side, and you just share the paper with me so I can see that you wrote on someone else's paper, and then you'll get 10 extra points. That's on the rubric. It's on the other side. So the highest you would be able to get is 110.
Once we're done.
You are going to also print out your paper and turn in a hard copy on Tuesday. It'll be 2/16. You have a 3-day weekend before that. So if you follow me here, you guys don't have school Monday or Tuesday.
And then we don't have school
We'll have
Monday.
school Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then you'll have another 3-day weekend. That Tuesday it'll be due. Print it out. Okay? If it is late, it's a project, not a homework assignment. It's a project, so each class late it'll lose 10 points, or 1 letter grade after 5 classes. The highest you can get is a 50%, and we're not using homework passes on this, nor the documents. If you didn't turn in your documents today, no homework passes. It's just it's 10 points per, or percentage points per day of class it's late. All right, we ready to flip it over?
Yeah.
All right, let's flip.
Huh?
This rubric, we have over the years really narrowed it down to be like almost each sentence or each part in order. So here we go. I'm going to quickly go through, and then you're going to be on your own to get help. You're going to start your paper and use Google Docs. That's good because then you're just easily able to share it. Okay? If you put it on your laptop, you won't be able to access it from home unless you put it on a flash drive or something. So just start in Google Docs. It's fine. Okay? Set your paper up. Have a name, title, block, double space it, 12-point font, Times New Roman. Your setup needs to be on the right side. Then you'll have a title. Your title should be thematic, not just DBQ essay. You'll lose points for that. Okay? Then you're going to have 5 body paragraphs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the way down. You're going to start with a historical introduction. That means like the big picture. In your packet, where the documents were, it gave you a historical introduction or a historical context. You remember reading that? Yes, no, maybe so?
Yeah.
Okay. You can read that historical context. You could change up the wording, put it in your own words, but that's the big picture. So not just maybe the government has been copied, but lots of things the United States has copied from the classic civilizations, ancient Greece and Rome, okay? Then you're going to give me a road map or a plan. I'm not positive what they call that in English class, but it's an outline of the 3 topics that you plan to discuss in order. So if you're going to do democracy in your first paragraph, it should say, the U.S. copied democracy, and then the next one, it'll be, next one maybe you choose separation of powers, and then the third one, maybe you're doing citizen duties. It just needs to be a list. List 3 topics in order. You'll go on in detail to explain them later in your essay. And then finally, you're going to give me the thesis statement, which is the U.S. copied its government from Greece and Rome. It's going to be in here a lot, this thesis. So look on the front and make sure you vary your diction. And I gave you lots of examples. So maybe use copies once, cross it off, and then use something else each time. Yeah.
And you can use that Command F trick to vary your diction as well. You can type in a word that you want to make sure that you didn't use too much.
Nice.
And then you can see how many times you actually used it. So you can say, oh, I used copy 27 times.
Oh yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah. Or something like
I'd
that.
be bored. I'd circle them. Yeah. All right. Now for each of the body paragraphs, I'm just going to explain one, and then you're going to do it twice over. So for your introduction, you need to both have your topic and your thesis mentioned in the first sentence. So if you're choosing like types of democracy, you need to have both your topic, which would be democracy, and the thesis, which is the United States government copied from Greece and Rome, in that first sentence, one sentence. Then you're going to give me the definition. So you got to start out with the definition of democracy. Then you're going to give me Greece, then you're going to give me Rome, and then you're going to conclude. So Greece explanation, we know that they have a direct democracy. So you should explain that. You should tell me that, Greece had a direct democracy and explain it. Maybe say why. Maybe tell me what it looks like who are the people that are directly participating, right? So give me a little explanation. Then you're going to give me the evidence from the documents. So tell me what document you're planning to use. You're going to cite it. You can either cite it by saying document 1, or you can cite it by using the title of the document. Either or, okay? And then tell me how, use to prove, how that document, or what in that document specifically. You could quote it, or you could in your own words describe it, but show me how that document showed what they were using. Then we're done with Greece. Then you're going to move on to Rome. Tell me what Rome had. You're going to tell me what representative democracy is, or what a republic is. Tell me what it looks like in ancient Rome, why they used it in ancient Rome, okay? Then choose a document, a different document. Cite it, so make sure you say document 4, or you give me the title, and then tell me what was in it that showed they had a representative democracy, okay? Finally, you're going to tell me the U.S. explanation. That's the part where you're showing how the United States synthesized their government from Greece and Rome. You might say, oh, they took a little bit of Greece here, they took a little bit of Rome here, and now this is what it looks like in the U.S. Or you might say they really emulated or copied their separation of powers from Rome, and then you'll show me how. You do not need a document for your U.S. explanation. You just need to explain it to me. Finally, you are going to conclude it by telling me both. You got to have your topic, democracy, and the thesis. So topic and then plus thesis. It was copied from ancient Greece and Rome. So topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. The conclusion is just the reverse of the intro. You should not just do highlight, copy, paste. You should mix up your diction a little bit, make it interesting for the reader, and there you go, ending your paper. Finally, proofread the thing. You should not turn in a first draft. That's painful for me. Please don't turn in a first draft. And to encourage you not to turn in a first draft, we've given you the opportunity for a peer extra credit. As I said, share it with someone, share it with me, and then I'll be able to click on it and see that you made comments on somebody else's paper, and I'll give you 10 points. Does anybody have any questions? It's very specific, very in order. Yes, Daniel.
What are these documents you're talking about?
What?
He wasn't here for the documents.
Oh. Yeah, but he got them. He just didn't do them.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay?
I guess I didn't.
Right, everybody. Open up your computer. Have that rubric in front of you as you go. You want to choose your 3 topics first.
Look at it.
Maybe choose your 3
this
topics
thing that
and
I have
choose
right
what
here.
document you're planning to
Sheet.
use.
I'll pick back up.
And then go for it.
Let's see.